Balake.
Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is right here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. Well, the LA Times interviewed the streamers, the protesters. We call them the Squirrel Squad sometimes. And I thought I would share it with you. Maybe get some thoughts from you guys about what you think about this article. I find myself being repeatedly disappointed by any mainstream or not mainstream news. What's the legacy media coverage of pretty much anything these days? Let's jump right into it. The LA Times acknowledges it's time for war. Headline, there's a war going on. LA anti-Scientology protests bring arrests, attack allegations. All righty then. Zoom in a bit here. Until about a year ago, William Good had no issues with the Church of Scientology. The self-proclaimed cop watcher and activist, better known by his social media handle, Film the Police LA, did not understand why the LA-based religion started by L. Ron Hubbard got so much flack. That was until Good tried to record video of police making an arrest outside of one of Scientology's buildings last year. Good alleges he was harassed by Scientology security guards who told him he could not shoot video on the public sidewalk. Although the allegation pales in comparison with others against the church, it set Good off. Quote, I told them, I'm going to end your religion, Good said in an interview. Now, Good and his gaggle of anti-Scientology protesters are brawling publicly with the organization. They've demonstrated outside its major facilities, as well as those of businesses perceived to be cozy with Scientology. Sometimes 100 or more people show up at the protests, Good said. They say the church has tried to stop them, called the police on them, and sent people out to harass them. The tactics of the protesters can be aggravating to their targets. They approach Scientology properties and yell at and record people, though they do so on public property, which is legal. Quote, there is a war going on, Good says. Good's group is just the latest of many to protest against the church, which has been dogged by controversy for decades, and his complaints will sound familiar to former members and other critics who've tangled with it publicly. The church disputes everything Good and his group say and alleges the quote-unquote hate group is not made up of protesters, but agitators and bigoted harassers of religious people. Quote, Scientologists have been harassed and attacked. The church and Scientologists have dealt with these religious hate crimes in accordance with the law. We filed police reports and have alerted the appropriate federal authorities to these threats and hate crimes, says Corinne Powell, the religion's spokesperson, in an email. Powell also said the group has called in bomb and fire threats. Oh, that's incredible. Costing hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money, denying important public services for real needs in our community, disturbing the peace, and disturbing places of worship. Okay, I was actually truly astonished by this part of the article, saying that the protesters have called in bomb threats and fire threats. It is, in fact, Scientology who has repeatedly, all right, someone's trying to call me. Let me cancel that. Thank you very much. I guess do not disturb doesn't mean anything on this computer. It is in fact Scientology who has repeatedly called in made false calls to the police saying that the protesters made some sort of a bomb threat or a fire threat. And it's actually Scientology who's costing the taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money. Okay, moving on here. Quote, why is anti-religious discrimination and hate with the stated goal of closing churches and causing harm to parishioners, new and old alike, tolerable? Not even the Los Angeles Times would consider these actions acceptable if aimed at a synagogue or a mosque. That was another quote from Corinne Powell. The battle most recently culminated in the arrest Friday of 3 anti-Scientology protesters outside of La Poubelle, a cafe and bar on Franklin Avenue across from the Scientology Celebrity Center, after the protesters clashed with people who were not even Scientologists. Protesters had targeted the watering hole because its owner, Francois Coster, penned a letter to a judge in support of actor and Scientologist Danny Masterson after his conviction on multiple counts of rape. The letter was especially galling to anti-Scientology activists because one of Masterson's victims alleged that she lost consciousness after Masterson gave her a drink at La Poubelle. She regained consciousness the next morning in pain, and Masterson told her they had had sex, according to her testimony at trial. Coster did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Protesters gathered outside La Poubelle on Friday, telling potential patrons not to go into the bar and suggesting that people's drinks might be spiked with drugs. It's true. It's a concern. Details from the Los Angeles Police Department about the 3 arrests, February 16th, are scarce and shrouded in bureaucratic cop speak. Police said that 2 people came to the Hollywood station around 10:30 p.m. and reported a battery to officers. Police followed up on the report to the 5900 block of Franklin Avenue, which is where La Poubelle is located. There, officers arrested 2 suspects, a police news release said. But while they were making those arrests, police were alerted to a second physical altercation at the location and made a 3rd arrest of another battery suspect. The 3 people arrested, Daniel Vieda Gonzalez, Carmen Yvonne, and Scott Hochstetter, were booked on suspicion of conspiracy and suspicion of unlawfully using tear gas, aka pepper spray. But other protesters said that only one of the 3 actually used tear gas or pepper spray. Gonzalez could not immediately be reached for comment. It was not clear whether he remained in police custody as of Tuesday. One of the others, Cameron Yvonne, I'm going to have to ask him the right way to pronounce his last name, said he was shoved by a man outside the restaurant and has no idea why he was arrested. Quote, "I don't raise my voice at anybody. I'm the most peaceful protester. I don't assault anybody," Yvonne said. How would you guys say that? Yvonne? It's got to be Yvonne, right? Yvonne? Yvonne said in an interview at the Times, "I honestly don't know why I was arrested. My head was spinning. Why am I being arrested when I didn't put my hands on anybody?" Video recorded at the scene shows a patron of La Poubelle slapping Yvonne's phone out of his hand after Yvonne referred to the man as Motley Crue. Yvonne said the man then pushed his chest and pinned him against a car before security guards separated the 2. Video later shows some of the protesters yelling at police, referring to them as dirty and using profanity against them. Yvonne says he did not assault anybody and did not have tear gas on him. All police found in his pockets was a chapstick, a vape pen, and AirPods. Hochstetter could not immediately be reached for comment. Public records show he is still in LAPD custody. The LAPD did not respond to a request for additional information on the 3 arrests. The situation at La Poubelle is the latest in the simmering Hollywood feud. Good alleges that protesters have been attacked since they started showing up at Scientology's Hollywood Information Center in September. Chris Nava, guys, that's Confident Chris, is Chris Nava. Chris Nava said he was assaulted on February 4th after protesting in Hollywood outside Scientology's Blue Building on Fountain Avenue. A man followed him to his car and beat him up, leaving him hospitalized and requiring stitches to the back of his head. He also lost a tooth. The man took his phone, Nava said. He reported the incident to the police, but no arrests have been made. Imagine that. Besides Nava, protesters said they have had their tires slashed while protesting. Others allege they have been attacked by a man with a dog. And still others say they were spat on, had snot thrown on them, or even had knives pulled on them. None of the attacks have been directly tied to the church, though protesters hold it responsible. Quote, "Scientology has been sending people out to physically intimidate the protesters," said Aaron Asmithlevin, a Florida-based former Scientologist who has attended some of the recent protests in Los Angeles. Asmithlevin said he and Patrick Perry, 52, were both detained by the police on January 19th. He alleges Perry attacked him. Arrest records show Perry was booked on suspicion of battery, but the department did not provide further details. The LAPD declined to arrest Asmithlevin. Fake news. After much consideration, only one individual was arrested for battery, the LAPD said in a statement at the time. The individual arrested has no known association with the Church of Scientology. A funny statement for the LAPD to make. Perry could not immediately be reached for comment. Powell, the Scientology spokesperson, did not respond to a question about claims of retaliation against protesters. Quote, "It's a constant thing," said William Good, who said that he instructs protesters to turn the other cheek. "We've preached, guys, you just have to take it. This is not about me. It's about us. It's about the movement." And that is the end of the article. Okay, I got to tell you, the article bothered me slightly less the second time that I read it through. It really did kind of bother me more the first time I read it through. I'm not sure I understand any longer what the purpose is of cooperating with stories like this for the legacy media. They're so kind of worthless, in my opinion. They're not particularly helpful. They're not like doing any investigating. They're just saying it's a he said, it's a she said, it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that. Um, I know Scientology certainly probably isn't a fan of the article. I know Francois Coster probably is not a fan of the article. Not great for La Poubelle. I don't know. What do you guys think? Why does this bother me so much? It just seems so worthless. I don't know what else to say about it. But that's it. I just wanted to show you guys what was said. They weren't going to write anything about it at all, and for whatever reason, yesterday they decided to. So this is just what they were able to put together in about 24 hours. And also, even the story of William Good and him filming the police outside of the Scientology building on Hollywood and Ivar, and what happened with the security guard. Even that part of the story is not adequately reported. It's reported in a way that makes William look ridiculous. The security guards outside that building didn't just try to interfere with William. Like, they were literally cursing William out. Like, one of the security guards told William to suck his D. I don't know why I don't want to say the word. And there's a little more to the story than they didn't want me to film outside the building. They acted like they owned the sidewalks. I don't know. I don't know why they want to put more details like that in the story. I don't know. All right, guys, that's all I got on this. Hey, DOA, Defender of Ants, Scott Hochstetter, his hearing is today. In fact, it was supposed to be hours ago. There was a big disturbance in the courtroom. There was a bunch of other cases being heard before his. There was a whole altercation. Police got into a fight in the courtroom with one of the defendants who was handcuffed. It was a whole big deal. A couple of the squad, actually all the streamers, all the LA-based streamers were in the courthouse this morning and are still there this afternoon. Waiting to see and hear what happens with Scott DOA's hearing. Once that hearing is over, you can expect me and Jacob Harkey to be live here on my channel with an update of what exactly is going on. So stay tuned for that, guys. Let's see. Partytology? Is it Partytology? Scientology were the ones who called in the bomb threat on Chris that night. There's video evidence of the Sea Org guards talking to the LAPD that night. That is totally true. Danny, hey, good to see you, Danny. Danny, are you in court? Are you in court with the guys right now? I'm not sure. Thank you, sir, for keeping everyone updated. Well, thank you, Danny, for everything you're doing, and all the rest of you as well. I'll see you guys this weekend. We're going to have a great time. Skyrider 140, Scientology fears exposure. Keep coordinating with legacy media, even if they get it wrong or not 100% right. Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think you are right on that. Even if the articles aren't great, even if they're 50% crap, maybe it's better to have them out there than not at all. I can respect that. Cassie Isaac, it feels lazy to me. No digging, no investigating. Yeah. I really hate, even the part of the article that says basically Aaron Smith-Levin alleges he was attacked. How can you say alleges at this point? There's 20 videos showing it. The guy was arrested. Why would you say alleges? I mean, it goes beyond being lazy. It's actually just false, right? It's not something that's alleged. It's a documented fact. Yeah. Love Asia, sending love from NYC. Love your content. Keep going. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You certainly know that I will. All right, guys, that's it for right now. Much more to come later today. Thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.